Hello there. I'm Crystal Dawn Morris, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to open your central pleasure channel. This is a channel of energy that moves up the body just in front of the spine from your perineum to your crown. And it connects all the 7 chakras. And in the East, they call chakras are like energy centers, so they're called chakras, which means wheels of light. They're called nadis. They're called meridians, but I'll be calling them chakras. So you have 7 primary chakras in that system of India that you may have heard through yoga. We have our root chakra at the perineum. We have our sacral chakra that connects our belly and the back of our spine. We have our solar plexus chakra, our heart chakra, our throat chakra, our third eye chakra, and our crown chakra. And this central pleasure channel connects all of those chakras. And when we begin to notice, it's really about bringing the attention to subtle energy awareness. So we live in the West in a world very focused on what's matter, what's solid, and we want to begin to become more aware of the subtle energy. And we're learning now through quantum physics that really the world is primarily made of emptiness and is the subtle energy that actually seemingly appears as matter. So it's really a practice of beginning to become more aware of this subtle energy in the body. And also to recognize that we are electromagnetic beings, that we are these beings of light, and that we are much bigger than our physical body. And so we're going to be using the 4 keys of Tantra: breath, sound, movement, and awareness or presence. So I was a midwife for 20 years, and it's very important. One of the important things I happened to notice when I started becoming involved with teaching this work was that the very first things you do when you're born is take a breath, make a sound, begin to move, and become aware of the world around you. So you're already an expert at this. And these are not so much about things that you need to do. It's more about just being aware of them and becoming more aware of this flow of subtle energy. And what I have found is helpful is to begin by connecting our root energy with our heart energy. And we all have masculine and feminine within us because we are like this battery. And batteries have to have 2 poles. They have a negative pole and a positive pole so the energy can flow. So we have within us the negative pole and the positive pole. And that pole, between those poles, the energy is flowing. So we're going to be connecting the root, which is more the masculine positive pole. It goes out when it's aroused. And with our feminine positive pole, the heart, the feminine heart becomes aroused. And I'm not talking about gender here, I'm talking about energy. So masculine energy gets aroused in the root, and the feminine energy gets aroused in the heart. So we want to begin to connect the root and the heart. And then as you build that connection, and for some people that might be very quick and easy, you'll begin to feel it move beyond the heart, up through the throat, through the third eye, and out through the crown. But if you're not quite feeling it, then just stay focused on the root to the heart. And that's the first step, to really get those 2 poles connected. And then the rest will happen as you it becomes more natural, and as you begin to practice more. So we begin with our feet hip width apart, our knees soft, slightly bent, so our spines and our pelvises can be engaged. And we're going to begin with a deep breath, but we're going to, rather than taking a deep breath through the mouth or through the nose, I'm going to invite you to imagine that you're sipping the breath through a straw. And the intention is to make the belly nice and round. And you'll find when you inhale like that and make the belly nice and round, that the chest rises, the belly rounds, and the back naturally will arch. You'll see that little arch there happen. And then as you exhale, the shoulders round, the back will flatten. And the head's also engaged. So I'm exaggerating it a bit, so you can see that. But you want to feel that movement in the spine. And if your spine is tight, or if you have any back issues, then it can be very subtle. So don't feel like it has to be exaggerated. Just listen to your body, and trust your own experience. So let's try that. And making sound is important. The sound helps you realize you're bigger than your skin. So you can see I'm using sound, breath, and movement, and I'm bringing the awareness into the feeling of the energy starting to move. Now, sound sometimes can be challenging for people. I've learned this. I've been teaching this for many years all over the world, and I've found in most cultures, in the West particularly, making sound is something that we've often been shamed about. As children, we're told we have to be quiet. We're embarrassed when we're making sounds in sex, if somebody makes a comment about it. So there's a lot of shame around making sounds, especially if they sound sexual in origin. So what I want to do is encourage you to really allow yourself to make some sound, because the sound will allow you to feel that you're this energy being. And it also has other benefits, which I'll be sharing in future lessons. So I'd like you to practice that for a few minutes and until you start to really feel it. So you might want to pause this video and give that a little bit of time to practice. Or if it's a bit challenging for you to do it standing, I would invite you to lay on the floor with your feet flat on the floor and your knees bent, so that you can be in a more relaxed position. And you'll notice when you do it, when you're laying on the floor, that your sacrum will press down into the floor as you inhale, and your buttocks will slightly elevate off the floor, or just have you slight less pressure on the floor as you exhale. So try that for a few minutes. Pause this video, try that for a few minutes, and then come back and I'll tell you the next step. Okay, the next step is adding an internal movement. So you've practiced the external movement, which was the pelvic rocking, and now we're going to practice the internal movement, which is called in yoga Mula Bandha. And that is what we call the PC pump. So we're going to squeeze the pelvic floor, and as we inhale, and we're going to relax the pelvic floor as we exhale. So this is for women, we know this is Kegels. For men, you may have heard of this term PC pump, or which stands for pubococcygeal pump. Or you could just think about, what do you do when you want to stop the stream of urine in the middle? So inhaling, you're going to squeeze the pelvic floor, and you can squeeze your fists to remind you what you're doing, and then relax. And you can do that for a few minutes until you start to feel some energy and aliveness in your pelvis. And then when you start getting the relaxing and contracting and releasing of the pelvic floor down, you can add the pelvic rocking to it. So it looks like this. And I find it helpful to imagine that this tube that's running up the center of my body, that there's like a little bead in there, a little ball of light, that I'm moving up that channel. So as I'm squeezing, and I'm feeling that squeeze move the ball up. You can also use your hand to trace it. Once you really feel that connection between root and heart, you can try bringing it up to the throat. Third eye, or crown. So give this practice some time and do it multiple times. It can be helpful to add some rhythmical, sort of sensuous music. Some slow belly dancing type music can be nice. But really allow yourself to begin to play with the central pleasure channel, to start to feel that you are this energetic being, and that this channel of energy that connects all your chakras begins to allow you to have a new awareness and appreciation of your environment. And as you're moving through life, you can begin to really learn how to make love to life. And this practice is going to be in my forthcoming book called Making Love to Life. And my invitation for you today is to open your central pleasure channel so that you can begin to feel more pleasure in your body, more pleasure in your life, and begin to feel more engaged in the world so that you can really tap into your creative energy, to your passion, to your excitement, and begin to have more fun in life and to create a world that's based on love, joy, and freedom. Have a beautiful day. I'm Crystal Dawn Morris. You can learn more about me at tantrafораwakening.org and look for my forthcoming book called Making Love to Life.